The folder was navy blue, leather, the expensive kind. He set it on the table between the bread basket and my wine glass, right after the waiter took our menus, right after he ordered the same bottle we'd ordered on our wedding night 8 years ago. "Happy anniversary," he said. I opened it, expecting, I don't know, a trip, jewelry. Instead, I was looking at a court stamp. Case number, my name across from his on a line that said petitioner and respondent. He'd already filed. That morning. I want to tell you, I didn't understand what I was looking at. That would be a lie. I understood immediately. I just didn't understand how. 11 months ago, he found a hotel receipt in my jacket pocket. I'd been careless. Not even sorry, just careless, which says something about where my head was. The affair had been going on for 4 months by then. A coworker. Forgettable, honestly, in the way these things usually are. I'm not going to dress it up or ask you to feel sorry for me about it. I made a choice every single time I made it. When he found that receipt, I thought he hadn't noticed. He never asked, never accused, never even seemed different. He still made coffee every morning, still said, "I love you" before he left for work, the same way he always had, like nothing in the world had cracked. I thought I'd gotten away with it. I thought wrong doesn't even cover it. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, is that the day he found that receipt was the day he stopped being my husband and became something else entirely. A man building a case, quietly, patiently, for 11 months. He hired a divorce attorney 3 weeks after he found the receipt, started moving money into accounts I never saw, never asked about, because why would I? We'd always trusted each other with the finances, or at least I'd always trusted him. He documented everything. Dates, messages he must have found on devices I thought were private, photos, a paper trail so complete it read less like a divorce filing and more like a prosecution.
Just
And
routine
the whole
paperwork.
time, dinner was on the
Okay,
table at
thanks.
6. He planned our anniversary trip to the coast in March like he always did. He held my hand at his cousin's wedding and danced with me to a song we both hated and laughed about it after. I used to think that was love. Consistency. The thing people said marriages were built on. It wasn't love. It was discipline. Somewhere in those 11 months, he started handing me papers to sign. Refinancing documents, he said. Updates to the trust. Routine. I didn't read them carefully. Why would I? He'd always handled this stuff, and I had other things on my mind. One of those documents, I learned at that table, with that folder open in front of me, was a quitclaim deed. I had signed away my interest in the beach house, the one we bought together, the one with my name on the deck post where I'd carved it the summer we got married. I signed it, in my own handwriting, while telling myself I was the one getting away with something. There was more in the folder, a second case number, my affair partner's name on it. He'd been served days earlier with a lawsuit. Alienation of affection. I didn't even know that was still a real thing you could file in some states. My husband had checked. He'd found the one legal door still open to him and walked through it before I even knew he was looking. He told me, calm as anything, that his flight left at 9 that night. One way. He'd already packed. He'd already said goodbye to the version of this house that included me in it. I sat there in a restaurant we'd celebrated in for 8 years and understood, fully, for the first time, that I had spent 11 months being managed. Not loved, not forgiven, managed. Every "I love you" was a brick in a wall he was building around an exit only he could see. I used to think I was the dangerous one in that marriage, the one capable of betrayal, of secrets, of living a double life behind a calm face. I wasn't even close. So here's where I am now. No house on the coast, no husband, a lawsuit with my name attached to someone else's mistakes, and a signature on a deed I don't even remember reading. People want me to say I'm devastated, and sure, some days I am, but mostly what I feel is something colder than grief. Respect, almost. He did what I never had the discipline to do. He hid everything perfectly for almost a year and let me believe I was the one in control the entire time. I wasn't grieving a marriage that night at that table. I was grieving the version of myself who thought she was smarter than the man across from her. I wasn't. If you knew, would you have done what he did? Stayed silent and planned, or confronted immediately? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone.